As Jim Harbaugh's vision for the 49ers comes together, there are a lot of positives on display.
And he's going to beat him. Touchdown, 49ers.
Even after a dominating win over their Cross Bay rivals, there's still much work to be done.
Just using every minute that you can, focusing on what's important now. Our players, our coaches have really embraced it.
This evening's contest offers a strenuous test for Harbaugh's squad as the dynamic duo of Schaub and Johnson lead the prolific Houston Texans air attack into Candlestick Park, as well as a chance for many 49ers to earn a spot on the roster.
The 49ers will get their biggest test of the preseason when one of the most potent NFL offenses coming into town. The San Francisco 49ers try to slow down the Houston Texans. Good evening, everybody. Dennis O'Donnell with Tim Ryan. The Niners were 6-10 last year, so were the Texans, but after that, these teams really go in completely opposite directions.
Well, I think you look at Houston, they're a juggernaut offensively. They wanted to improve on the defensive side of the ball. I think they did that with some of their acquisitions. And then for the 49ers, clearly, Dennis, their strength has been defense. They wanted to upload and uptick their offense, so hopefully that's happened.
Let's talk about that defense. They did stop Drew Brees in New Orleans. The starters did. And, of course, the Raiders last week, they did the same against them. They're going to get a strong test tonight.
They absolutely will. And the defense has really been outstanding here the preseason. And you know what? Historically, over the last few years, the front seven, defensive line, and linebackers have been very good. But this is going to be a different animal now. They're going to get 3/4 of a juggernaut offense against these Houston Texans and what they do offensively. And they got three guys that when you look at what these guys are doing numbers-wise, arguably the best in the National Football League. There is a lot of wow factor when you look at Matt Schaub, well over 4,000 yards. Arian Foster came out of nowhere. You look what he did. He also had 66 receptions. And then Andre Johnson, arguably the best in the National Football League. So the 49ers' issues on defense have been the back end. The secondary has been revamped. That is a huge challenge against those guys. I'm excited to see how they match up tonight.
Now, typically in the preseason, the third game is kind of the dress rehearsal where you kind of script what you're going to do in the regular season. Jim Harbaugh's going to change it up. He's got a different game plan.
Well, and I think it's smart. Jim's going to come into this game, and as you said, typically, and you'll see Houston, they're going to play their starters for 3/4, Dennis, in this football game tonight. You're not going to see that with Jim Harbaugh and this football team. I think we could see Colin Kaepernick early, the quarterback out of Nevada, the second-round pick. Probably by the third or the fourth series, and I like it because it's going to be a great gauge, not only with him playing with the ones, but playing against the opponent's ones. So good stuff there. We could say the same thing, I think, for Jonathan Goodwin at center. He's in a battle with Adam Snyder, and then Aldon Smith defensively. I think we're going to see him early as well with the ones against the ones.
49er running back situation, Kendall Hunter or Anthony Dixon, we could see that battle. Who wins, who loses tonight?
Well, they both were terrific last week, in particular Kendall Hunter with that big bomb run right down the middle of the field. Frank Gore needs a primary backup, and I think tonight in this game is going to sort out who that player is going to be.
We saw Braylon Edwards. Niner fans got a good taste of him last night, or last week, I should say. Now, Braylon, what does he want to bring to the 49ers? A little bit more hardware into that 4949 Centennial Boulevard address.
Being this close the last 2 years with the Jets, 2 AFC finishes, I know what it takes to get there, and it each time it hurts a little more. But I just want to bring everything I can to this team in terms of experience. You know, I've seen it. I've seen what it takes to get there. I've seen the good, the bad, and I'm motivated. You walk in that building here in Santa Clara, and they're right there. There are 5 of them staring at you every day when you walk in to get work. They're right there like, do you want one? You know, what are you going to do to get this trophy? So I think it's motivational, and I think you just hear the echoes. Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Dwight Clark, Harris Barton, Brent Jones. I mean, these names just pop out. So we got to be like those guys, and those guys took football serious every day, and they sacrificed for the good of the team. So that's what we got to do.
Now, we know that last week's Battle of the Bay was marred by violence. There will be some changes tonight when the 49ers host the Texans. For more, let's go down to Kim Coyle.
Thanks, Dennis. In light of the events that left 2 people shot and 1 brutally beaten in a bathroom, the 49ers have added some security measures. There will be additional lighting in the parking lots as well as security, and no tailgating will be allowed once the game starts. I had a chance to talk with Vernon Davis, and he was disappointed by last week's events.
I couldn't do nothing but shake my head. I mean, we don't need that type of nonsense at the games. You know, people want to come out and bring their family and see a good football game, and that's what we want to give them. I just think, you know, things like that shouldn't happen, especially at a football game. Any game, period. It shouldn't happen. You should be able to go out in a peaceful environment and be able to watch a football game.
And the 49ers have always been committed to fan safety, and this heightened security, Dennis, will continue throughout the regular season.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. Also, NFL head of security Jeff Miller is at the game tonight. Houston has played just one regular season game at Candlestick Park. That was a 2017 overtime loss back in the 2005 season. The Texans and 49ers have never met in the preseason so far this year. Houston is a perfect 2-0. The 49ers are 1-1. And yes, if it's Candlestick, the flags are blowing. Jim Harbaugh has got to be happy with the results through 2 preseason games. San Francisco ranks first in rushing yardage with 187 yards and 6 in total defense. Gary Kubiak is 37-43 as the head coach of the Houston Texans. And this is likely a make or break year for Kubiak, who was brought back for a 6th season, even though his team stumbled to 6 wins last year from a franchise record 9 wins in 2009. Time now for the Honda keys to the game, Tim.
Well, I think you look at the 49ers, and certainly it's got to be about the secondary covering these guys offensively. The secondary's got a lot of new players. How they match up against that prolific passing attack, big question mark there. No doubt about it. And then I think keeping the quarterbacks clean. Look, this Houston team's got 11 sacks in 2 games. Mario Williams, number 90, and you'll see him in the game, is a dominant pass rusher. So they've got to certainly line up and protect against that 3-4 defense. And then special teams. Brad Seeley, the special teams coordinator, it has not been very good. They've had some wild things happen in the first 2 games. No question, Dennis, that has to get better here this evening.
David Akers, he of the 53-yard punt last week in the emergency situation for Andy Lee. He will kick off. Derek McManus will receive for the Texans. We're underway at Candlestick Park. McManus is going to bring it out across the 10. Got a little lane short of the 20-yard line, where he's down there by San Francisco, and the Texas offense will take the field. They're going to play 3 quarters tonight, as Tim has pointed out. And Matt Schaub, 8th year of Virginia, threw for 4,369 yards, 4th best in the National Football League. 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and that was a rating of 92. During one stretch, he had 4 consecutive 300-yard games last week against the Saints, 12 of 16, 163. So it is a very potent Houston offense set to take on the Niners defense. Schaub has time, and it's picked off. Touchdown, 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to love that. First play of the game, Ahmad Brooks, he sniffs it out the whole way. You'll watch him come from this side of your screen. Watch him read the little screen as Eric Winston lets him go a little bit. He just got right in the lane of the quarterback. And watch Matt Schaub's left hand. Matt Schaub's left hand's going to come off the ball. That's the immediate cue for Ahmad Brooks to get right in the throwing lane, showing great hands. Pick 6. Love it for the touchdown.
13-yard interception return, and Brooks followed up his 6th sack season in 2009 with 5 more last year. David Akers, Andy Lee is the holder, and he is good. That's the first half touchdown of the preseason for the 49ers, and it comes via the defense, who has been strong all season, or the first 2 preseason games. San Francisco on the board first, 7-0 with 9 seconds gone in the football game.
Well, just such a heads-up play by Ahmad Brooks. You know what it makes me think of is Matt Schaub last year, if you remember, on that big Monday night game against the Baltimore Ravens when he threw the interception to Josh Wilson that ended the game. And again, you love the fact that he's looking left, and as soon as that hand comes off, always a cue for a defensive lineman that the ball's coming out. You just can't play it any better if you're Ahmad Brooks, who's had, Dennis, a great training camp. Remember last year he started the season with a lacerated kidney. The guy was out of football in 2008. if you remember, coming from the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know Jim Harbaugh and Vic Fangio have been elated with what he's done here in training camp.
Well, the Niner linebacking core as an entire unit, Tim, has had a fantastic camp. There is one possibly open position there, obviously Paris Harrelson and the rookie Eldon Smith. But there's depth, there's quality, and the best linebacking unit, despite the absence of Takeo Spikes. This is going to be good.
Yeah, Navarro Bowman has really settled in as that other inside linebacker next to Patrick Willis. And I really don't have question marks with the front seven. I think all the 49er fans realize, watching this defense, that the big question marks are in the secondary.
So David Akers will do it again. Derek McManus back deep to receive for the Texans. He came up short of the 20 on his last attempt. This is a short kick taken at the 4-yard line. And McManus gets even less yards than he did the first one when it was 6 yards deep. We get back to the 15-yard line. And there is a timeout. 15 seconds into the game. And the Niners lead 7-0. Yeah. So right away on the out of bounds with 14:38 on the play and taken out by Terrell Brown. Pickup of 12 yards.
Wait, that dude's for real right there, Arian Foster. We showed the graphic of him coming into the game and really came out of nowhere in terms of being able to do what he did last year. Arguably the best back in the league in terms of his numbers, and then you saw an example there of what he can do in the passing game as well. 66 catches for him last year.
First down to 27, shot to pass, and he completes. And Johnson across midfield, the 45 to the 43-yard line. Deshaun Goldson makes the tackle, but a big gain for Houston and another pickup of 30 yards and another first down. Take a look at the Xfinity starting lineups. And the Houston offense, as we mentioned, how potent it is. As Dwayne Brown rebounded from a 4-game suspension last year for violating the league's substance abuse policy. He called it a life lesson there. Pick up to the 40-yard line. And Arian Foster, I'll tell you what, no undrafted running back has ever had the kind of success that Arian Foster had 1 year ago.
No, a dominant player. And remember a few years ago they had Steve Slayton. They had other guys that were able to run the football. This guy just came in last year and absolutely tore it up. Up tempo here for the offense for the Houston Texans. Gary Kubiak, and again, a big part of it's that veteran quarterback Matt Schaub, really able to up tempo the offense and keep this defense guessing at a rapid pace.
Pick up 3 yards, second down and 7. Schaub now the handoff, and it's Foster again. Foster gets to the outside and got by Patrick Willis, gets near a first down. He'll be shy by about a yard. It'll bring up third down. I think Houston, in a nutshell, they were supposed to win the AFC South last year. That was the pick. And they started out well. They beat Indianapolis by 10 points at home and then had the dramatic overtime win in Washington a week later. They were 4-2 going into the bye week, and boy, they stumbled, losing 8 of 9. And a quick out, and that will be a first down. But Deshaun Goldson tried to string it out, but that'll be another Houston first down.
And Dennis, they play Indianapolis week 1 this year, again down at their place. And of course, the big story right now around the NFL is Peyton Manning and his neck surgery. He had 2 of them this offseason, and whether or not he's going to be available. I'll tell you right now, with Wade Phillips coming in here and helping these guys out, changing their defense from a 4-3 to a 3-4, I know they have a lot of confidence in Wade and what he is as a defensive coordinator. They'll be my pick in the AFC South to win the division.
7-0, 49ers lead, 12:05, clock moving into first quarter. Another first down for Houston. And Derek Ward with the carry.
Watch Ray McDonald on this play. You just can't draw it up any better. Right here, he's going to end up going against the offensive guard. And what the 49ers do with the defense and with that 3-man front is they play those defensive ends on inside technique on the offensive tackles. And I was talking to Eric Winston, the right tackle of Houston, before the game. And he said it makes it very, very difficult to block those guys from that alignment.
Sharp, good pass protection. He throws, it's complete. And Casey makes the catch at near the 20-yard line. That'll be shy of a first down.
Yeah, they're going to get a defensive hold, I believe, on Dante Whitner. The back judge threw the flag, and it looked like Dante Whitner was locked up with the tight end.
Holding defense number 98. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, 0 for 1 there for me.
Harris Harrelson with the flag, and that'll bring the ball down to the 22-yard line.
And with the back judge, has always got his eyes. He's the guy at the very back end of the defense, and in this area of the field, he'll line up in the end zone. He's always got his eyes right there on that tight end, watching that matchup. There he is. There's the back judge.
And the fake to Foster. That shot's going to roll out. As the time. Now the pressure from Smith, and it's complete. So Andre Johnson makes the catch. Deshaun Goldson makes the tackle for the 49ers.
Watch the tiered routes here on this little bootleg pass. And there you got 3 guys right there on Andre Johnson. They all leave him. Matt Schaub just is able to hold on to the ball long enough. The 3 defenders fall off Andre Johnson. Matt Schaub delivers the strike for a first down.
And it's Foster, the ball carrier, and that bunch. Right.
There's big Ray McDonald again. I'm telling you, Eric Winston, who is one of the better run blockers in the National Football League, lining up at right tackle here for the Houston Texans, will have his hands full trying to block Ray McDonald.
Toyota Red Zone. 49er defense preseason, 2 touchdowns, 5 possessions, conversion of 40%. But Houston has all 5 starters back from a line that paved the way for Arian Foster, Dwayne Brown, Wade Smith, Chris Myers, Mike Frizzle, and Eric Winston. It's a good one, but there's not a lot of depth behind the starters. They cannot afford an injury. Shot to throw, and it's incomplete. He was looking for the tight end, Owen Daniels, over there on the coverage with Dante Whitner, who's Jim Harbaugh very excited about the acquisition of Dante Whitner. We talked to the 49er head coach the other day.
Yeah, Dante is a guy that was a top 10 pick out of Ohio State, ended up in Buffalo in his first several years, was really playing a lot of cover 2, which is 2 deep safeties playing half the field. He is going to be much more suited for this offense, or this defense, down in the box as a playmaker.
Third down and 9, 9:44 left to go. 49ers leading 7-0. Schaub throws into the end zone, incomplete. Just over the outstretched arms of Jacoby Jones. He had his man, and that'll bring up a field goal situation for Houston.
Matt Schaub would like to have this one back again, and you see the ball's just going to come out a little early, and it's going to sail on him. Should have been caught by Jacoby Jones. I mean, the ball location maybe a little bit high, but absolutely should have been caught by Jacoby Jones right through his hands.
So this will be an attempt to 27 yards for Neil Rackers, the 12-year veteran. Hit a career-long 57-yard field goal against Denver last year. About half of that. And it is good. So a nice drive by the Houston Texans with 9:37 left to go in the first quarter. The 49ers lead Houston 7. Candlestick Park, the 49ers lead the Houston Texans 7-3. Last drive, Matt Schaub 3 of 5, 54 yards. Johnson 2 catches, 42 yards. Finally get a chance to see the 49ers offense, but before we do, Kendall Hunter will be deep to receive for San Francisco, and Hunter in a battle with Anthony Dixon for the backup running back job to Frank Gore. And Hunter, with a 53-yard touchdown run last year, has been impressive. The Rackers wanted no part of Kendall Hunter, and taken by Dixon. It gets about the 23-yard line.
Did you see Dixon hold up and get behind the wedge? He got ahead of the wedge. He said, you know what, I'm going to...
A return of 15 yards. 9:29 left to go, first quarter. It's 7-3. Everybody to Candlestick. Jim Harbaugh had to be pretty excited with the 49er defense on the interception by Ahmad Brooks off Matt Schaub. Now he gets the first look at the offense, and he said he would play Alex Smith up to 2 series. Now remember Smith last week, his first series was a 16-play drive. With that quarterback for San Francisco. Dixon is already in the backfield. And it's Anthony Dixon who gets across the 25 to the 26. And so Ryan Cushing makes the stop. Well, Alex rebounded nicely in the Battle of the Bay. Tim, he led the Niners on a game-opening 9-minute, 16-play drive. Smith was 8 of 13, 126, one interception. A significant improvement on the preseason opener at New Orleans. Second down and 7. So Dixon starting, Frank Gore not in the lineup, and it's complete to Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn is at the 35, and hell of a first down for San Francisco. Take a look at the Xfinity offense for the 49ers, and the big story here, who's the backup to Frank Gore? Kendall Hunter ran for over 100 last week. And John Madden on KCBS Radio 10 this week called Mike Iupati one of the best left guards in the NFL right now. Big praise from a guy who knows the business. First down for San Francisco, ball at the 35-yard line, and it's Dixon. And he goes behind Iupati, and he drags his way forward for a gain of 2, maybe 3. Ryan Cushing makes the tackle for Houston.
And you mentioned the running backs and all the success, Dennis, that they had last week. A big part of it was that group up front and how they blocked. And it wasn't just the number ones, it was the second group as well. They absolutely controlled and dominated the line of scrimmage against the Raiders last Saturday.
Dixon, 12 carries, 53 yards last week. He leads the Niners with 19 carries, but he's got a 3.6 average for those 19 carries. Pick up a 4, so it's second down and 6. Dixon again, and he gets to the 40. He'll be 5 yards shy of a first down. Take a look at the Houston defense, and this is where they've made significant upgrades. And J.J. Watt is the 11th overall pick. He works in one speed, and it's overdrive. Mario Williams is dropping back from the defensive end to the linebacker position, so he's making a transition, but you saw the 48 career sacks. And then Jonathan Joseph is one of the additions, veteran additions to the defensive backfield that needed such an upgrade. Third down and 5 for the 49ers, ball at the 40-yard line. Smith to throw, look out, and down he goes. Joe Staley beaten on the play. And that was a nice move by Connor Barwin.
Here's Connor Barwin. He'll be coming from this side of your screen. You can't see him, but he's going to take Joe Staley as you watch. He's threatening the outside and then just gets to the depth of the quarterback. A short drop by Alex Smith. And that's really just knowing where the launch point's going to be of the quarterback. In other words, where he's going to be throwing from and how deep, and well coached there from Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator. Look, if you get a big vertical set from that offensive tackle and he's too deep, and you know where the throwing point's going to be for the quarterback, come back inside. Connor Barwin did it, got himself a sack.
Paul Pelescu doing the punting. Andy Lee is holding but not punting. Jacoby Jones has the ball out at about the 35, and then a flag. However, makes Costanzo make the stop for the 49ers.
And we just showed you Wade Phillips, who got run out of town in Dallas. Look, anybody's going to get run out of town in Dallas if you don't win. And they didn't win, and he was the head coach.
Personal foul. Kicking team number 49 with a horse collar tackle. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, it's Bruce Miller called for the violation for the 49ers, and we're going to take a timeout. 6:25 left to go, 7-3 San Francisco. Well, the penalty puts the ball at the 46-yard line. First and 10, Houston, good field position. 6:25 left to go in the first quarter. San Francisco leading 7-3. Dennis O'Donnell with Tim Ryan and Kim Coyle on the field. And Arian Foster with the ball. Boy, nice open field tackle. That one really would have gone somewhere. Whitner came up to make the stop. He picks up about 5, close to 5 yards. It'll be second down.
And there's Wade Phillips there, as I was saying, got run out of Dallas as the head coach. I know from talking to the players that they've got so much confidence in him as the defensive coordinator in his plan. And really, to a man, they told me, he brings such a calming effect and so far here in the preseason because they believe in his scheme. They believe in what he's teaching them. He's got answers for all their questions. Great addition to this staff here in Houston.
That was Carlos Rogers who made the tackle, and that's complete inside the 40 to about the 33-yard line. Laval Bowman and Patrick Willis converge on the tackle of James Casey, but a first down for Houston.
Well, that's a bust in coverage. I mean, you don't get that wide open in this league without somebody messing up in terms of making a mental error. Casey's out there sitting in the flat, and there was nobody, Dennis, within 10 yards of him.
And this time it's Foster again, and he gets near the 30-yard line. Foster, of course, what a story. I don't know if there's a better success story than this guy. He goes from being an undrafted rookie out of Tennessee to leading the NFL in rushing last year with 1,616 yards. And Tim, that was the most ever by an undrafted player. And Gary Kubiak knew about that stuff because he was at Denver, and they had a lot of unheralded running backs who did big things.
He runs with tremendous, as we say, nasty. He's got a nasty disposition about him when he's carrying the football.
Picks up 2 yards, second down and 8, and it's Foster again. And Foster cuts back to the inside and gets to the 25-yard line. Paris Harrelson makes the tackle for the 49ers.
And look at the numbers there, 1,616 yards rushing, 22-20 from scrimmage. All the touchdowns combined, all led the National Football League. You said it, most ever by an undrafted player. And obviously with those yards from scrimmage, a big part of that was the 66 receptions he had out of the backfield catching the football from Matt Shaw.
He's got a lot of talent, so look for that here on third down and 3. Job over the middle, and it's complete. And he tackled by Navarro Bowman, but a first down for Kevin Walter.
Looks like they're just in a principle of cover 2 defense. Navarro Bowman's got what they call the hook, which is just right in that area and just too much depth for Navarro Bowman. You got to understand the down and distance, and you can't let a tight end run into what we call the hook zone right in front of you, already past the first down marker.
Now the starters remain in the game on defense. And on first down shot, now going to run with the ball and slides. Pretty astute decision by the veteran quarterback in a preseason game, because Justin Smith was licking his chops and waiting for the quarterback to arrive.
How dominant is Justin Smith? Really, and I said it last week, I think he's certainly one of the most underrated players in the NFL, but maybe the most underrated defensive end that plays the position the way that he plays it. The guy's never missed a game, 155 starts, he's a warrior, he's an Iron Man, brings great leadership to this defense, and it's not just against the run now, Dennis. He can rush the passer and get after the quarterback. 8.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, and Tim, he was talking about that Niner defensive line as being the best since he's been here. Remember, that's with the departure of Brea Franklin. First down at 20 now. Foster cuts back, he's got room, and he gets down to the 21-yard line. So he gets 9 of it back right there.
He wasn't getting to the outside. They're an outside zone football team. You're not getting outside of Justin Smith. Watch Justin play the inside, got 2 guys going to peek outside, and then Arian Foster cuts back inside where there needed to be some linebacker help, and it frankly wasn't there.
8 carries, 38 yards now for Arian Foster. We're approaching the 2-minute mark now in the first quarter. The 49ers leading the Texans 7-3. And Ahmad Brooks' interception return on the first offensive play of the day for Matt Shaw. Job quick over the middle, Andre Johnson, and it's intercepted. That's his second pick of the day for the 49ers. Deshaun Golson, there's a flag. That looked like Deshaun Golson, that Andre Johnson was surprised that ball was there.
I think they're going to get pass interference against the defense while the ball was in the air. See what Tony Corrente says
pass
here.
Interference, defense, number 31, automatic, first down.
Dante Whitner called for PI.
Yeah, there it is right there. You see the material grab, and he's pulling back. You see the jersey stretch out. It's an easy call there for the side judge who saw it and was all over it.
So that sets up Houston down the 13-yard line, 1st and 10. Inside the 10-yard line. And that's Derek Ward carrying the football for Houston. Ward suffered a concussion in the opening preseason game against the Jets. But he's a good one too, Tim. He averaged 6.3 yards to carry while backing up Foster last year.
Oh, he's been a bruiser now. Watch 31 Dante Whitner just get clobbered by Kevin Walter, the receiver. That's what you call digging out a safety. He dug him out and put him on the ground, which was certainly part of opening up that hole.
That is 8 first downs now for Houston to San Francisco's 1. Of course, job at the time of possession dominating after that interception. And Johnson down near the goal line. He did not get in. Stopped by Dante Whitner, but he is inside the 1-yard line.
Well, you can see this passing game is rhythmic and precise with Matt Schaub and Andre Johnson. Here's Andre. He's going to cross in front of the goal line. He's going to sit inside against the zone, and then he's going to take off, leave Ahmad Brooks, get into the soft spot between the outside linebacker and the safety. And Schaub, without any pressure, easily finds it.
So 1st and goal now. Ball inside the 1-yard line. The fake to Foster, looking for him as a receiver, and a nice job. Schaub just threw it out of bounds. As good coverage over there, C.J. Spillman had picked him up.
Another really good play, though, by Ahmad Brooks, who forced Schaub to pull it up and throw it. Was not going to give up contain and let Schaub get to the outside. And here it is up here at the top of your screen. This is a big part of what Houston does offensively, the bootleg game. Schaub had no chance. Well covered as well as by C.J. Spillman, like you said, but Ahmad Brooks made that play.
2nd down. And in for the touchdown, and that was Derek Ward. Goes in for the score, and another nice drive by Houston, set up by a couple penalties, actually. And Texans take the lead.
Watch the red jerseys go back over here. They hold up at the point of attack, and then the surge starts. And when you're that close to the goal line, you only need about 2 yards of push. The Houston offensive line got it. Touchdown.
It's hard to believe that Houston had no Pro Bowlers on that O-line team last year.
Again, I think Eric Winston is the guy. When you talk about run blocking, and he's equally as good at the pass, very underrated player, the right tackle.
Point after is good, and with 33 seconds left, the Houston Texans have taken the lead over the 49ers 10-3, or 10-7, excuse me. By that time, the 49ers already built a great rivalry with the other team in Texas. That year, Jeff Garcia rallied the 49ers with a 21-point fourth quarter, 2 of his 3 touchdown passes going to Terrell Owen, including the game winner, with just 12 seconds remaining as the Niners clinch the NFC West 31-27. Neil Rackers set to kick off. Anthony Dixon is deep for San Francisco, and that ball will roll out of the end zone, and the 49ers will have the ball at the 20. There's the timeout. 33 seconds left to go. First quarter. Texans lead 10-7. 7. San Francisco came out smoking on a Ahmad Brooks interception return on the first offensive play from scrimmage for Houston. It's been all Texans after that. They have 127 yards of offense to the 49ers 10. Now, Jim Harbaugh said he might give Alex Smith a couple series in this game, but Tim, I gotta believe he's want to get something, some confidence for Smith and the starting unit. Kendall Hunter in the game on the rollout now, the fake to Hunter, and it's complete. Joshua Morgan with the reception.
And look at the total plays graphic. You score on defense on the first play of the game, 9 seconds. Look what has happened, Dennis, since then. You got 21 plays to 5 for the Houston offense versus the 49er offense. Houston 2 for 3 on third down. They had the ball for over 11 minutes here in the first quarter.
Well, that will bring an end to the first quarter. The pickup of 9 yards. So when we come back, the 49ers will have second down and 1. Presented in part by Xfinity Endless Entertainment, endless ways. It's endless fun to do Xfinity. The 49ers, second down and 1. Trying to get a drive going. And Alex Smith, this could be his last offensive series, and down he goes again. That's the second time they've gotten to the 49ers quarterback, Antonio Smith, on the sack for Houston.
Alex had no chance. Watch him go right by Mike Iupati. Watch this. He goes inside of Joe Staley and by Mike Iupati. Alex had no chance, did not even get to the back step of his drop. And you saw Joe Staley out there looking for work. Somebody messed up in terms of what the protection was right there on the left side of the offensive line. That's what I was talking about, one of the keys of the game, keeping the quarterback clean. That's sack number 12 here in the preseason for the Houston Texans defense.
Reminiscent of that first game against New Orleans where they blitzed the Niner quarterbacks 18 times. Alex Smith throws and it's complete with Ted Ginn. No, now they're saying he was out of bounds.
Antonio Smith did it again, and 49er fans will remember him from the Arizona Cardinals. This guy can rush the passer. He slides right inside Adam Snyder right there, forces Alex to get rid of the ball early. Dennis, when you get rid of the ball early as a quarterback, typically it's going to sail a little bit high on you. That's exactly what happened.
Gillespie will do the punting. Jacoby Jones will be deep to receive. Nice job by Ted Ginn. Nonetheless, they'll bring that ball in, but it will be 4th down. So once we said 2 series, but I got to believe Smith comes out for a 3rd. Jones will try and return it. Gets the ball inside the 35-yard line, and he's hit there, and Houston will have pretty good field position. With 14:04 left to go in the second quarter, Houston leading the 49ers 10-7. News, video, statistics, analysis, and tickets. Be sure to go to 49ers.com. San Francisco has made a lot of changes on defense right now. Harbaugh going with his second-team defense. Carlos Rogers remains in the game at cornerback, but after that, a lot of new faces on the Niner defensive unit and facing the first-string offense of Houston. Shaw, quick over the middle, and it's complete inside the 50-yard line. C.J. Spillman makes the tackle on Kevin Walter, a gain of 15 yards and a 1st down.
Here's Mike Solari, the offensive line coach. There's Big Mike right there, and he is basically talking to the fellas and saying, look, we busted that last protection on the sack on Alex Smith by Antonio Smith, and I think it was these 2 guys right here, and Joe Staley and Mike Iupati, where the mix-up occurred.
And a quick snap inside the 45 to about the 43-yard line. Ben Tate gets his first carry of the day. 2nd-round pick in last year's draft out of Auburn. Big expectations, Tim, for him, but then he broke his ankle in the Texans preseason opener, but rebounded strong. Carries 95 yards and a touchdown against the Saints. Showed his speed, cutting ability, picking up blocks. He's a good one.
He is a load now. This is a huge challenge for these second-teamers on defense against this offense.
2nd down and 5. Ball at the 43-yard line of the 49ers. Fake to Tate. Shaw has time. All the time in the world now throws. And he's looking for Johnson. Did it hit the ground? Yeah.
Pass is ruled incomplete. It came up off the ground. 3rd down.
Andre Johnson was trying to sell it. No luck.
And that's the risk you take now. When you got your backups out there against this highly potent offense, and we saw that time no pressure. Matt Schaub sitting back there 3 or 4 seconds, just holding the ball ready to deliver a strike. Lucky thing on the back end, there was good coverage, tight coverage by Carlos Rogers on Andre Johnson.
Once again, Gary Kubiak plans to play his starters for 3 quarters. Walter, the receiver, in motion for Texas. I think the Niners might have jumped. Schaub, time. Now the flag comes. Schaub throws, and it's incomplete. He was looking for the tight end, Owen Daniels.
Offside, defense number 95. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
There's rookie Jean Francois, who got a lot of time in camp when Isaac Sopoaga was injured and took most of the first snaps with the 49ers first team.
Really interesting decision by Coach Harbaugh to have wholesale changes with the exception of Carlos Rogers. And in talking to Jim on Thursday, I was kind of listening to him and thinking that he was going to sprinkle in some 2s with the 1s. That certainly has not been the case.
3rd down and 1. And Foster fights for the first down. I don't know if he got it. It looked like the Niners held it. Will Tukuafu made a nice play for San Francisco.
Yeah, he's going to be short. Tukuafu definitely stacked it up. Watch the whole right side of the line. Remember earlier, we saw when they ran the touchdown, they were able to get surge after the point of attack, that being the offensive line for the Houston Texans. No chance that time with Tukuafu, who's had a nice camp. Being the whole left side of that defensive line, stacking it up.
With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 12:28. 12:28, thank you.
Matter of inches. My guess is Kubiak, preseason game, he's going to go for it. Kubiak, he's going to have a good feel, Tim, I think by the end of the season's first 4 weeks, how this team is going to shape up.
Did you see how they ran the ball against the New Orleans Saints last week? They ran roughshod all over them.
Well, they're going to have a home opener against Indianapolis and trips to Miami and New Orleans, and then a visit from the conference champion Pittsburgh. So I think if they come out of that 2-2 or better, then they're going to be thinking that long-awaited playoff berth is very much possible. So they're going for it on 4th down. Nobody in the backfield. Schaub pushes forward and gets the first down. I don't think that's much of a surprise. That's a good call. With that offensive line and working against the second team defensive line of the 49ers, Schaub able to get the just enough push forward.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, Gary Kubiak having a feel for his football team. He knows that offensive line. He knows that offensive line's going against backups in terms of the 49ers up there in their front seven, their D-line and their linebackers. Easy decision.
Well, now at the 37-yard line. Play action, and it's Casey. Tight end, and he gets away from one man and plows forward to the 35-yard line before he's finally knocked down.
It's a nice play by Antoine Applewhite. Really is. Comes over from San Diego, gets up here last year. There he is. Now watch him filter out, and you're going to see 55 come to try to get a little blindside block on him. No chance there, and he's able to force the ball back inside to the help. Carlos Rogers and other guys able to get in on the tackle. Very nice play there by Applewhite.
San Diego State guy, 4th year. Made the Chargers roster as an undrafted free agent. Had a good year last year. Had 3 sacks for San Diego. And that will be down to about the 32-yard line. Derek Ward will get a long look, I think, tonight. Derek Ward. There's some depth there at running back.
And I think, like here, I think they're trying to sort out who the primary backup's going to be, Dennis, to Arian Foster. You mentioned Ben Tate earlier, who had the injury last year when he came out of Auburn and was able to put together 95 yards last week. And Derek Ward's had very good success in this league with the New York Giants and some with the Tampa Bay Bucs.
4th down and 3. Tate now in the game in the backfield for Houston. And the quick over the middle, and it's Owen Daniels. That's one of his favorite targets. And he gets down to the 10-yard line.
Well, these are the challenges for the rookie Aldon Smith. I mean, this is an absolute mismatch. Aldon Smith, you see he comes over in motion 99 on Owen Daniels. And Owen just gives him a little stutter step to the outside, releases to the inside. No chance to cover Owen Daniels, who's a very, very good route runner. That's a big challenge for Aldon Smith, and he's going to see that this year. You're going to see teams formation against him, Dennis, to get him out of his forte, which is a rusher, and get him to where he's not very good, and Green certainly in coverage.
1st and goal for Houston. Tate gets all the way down to the 5-yard line. There's a flag. Looking at Ben Tate. Spent the rookie year on injured reserve, but then there's Arian Foster. There's Derek Ward. Steve Slayton.
Offense number 86. 10-yard penalty.
Steve Slayton didn't even make the trip. So there is a plethora of running backs behind Arian Foster.
And Slayton has had very good success in this league. Had a neck injury a few years ago. It's a hamstring right now, and there's word around the league that he may not make this roster. And if he doesn't, Dennis, you will see him snapped up in a heartbeat by another club looking for a 3rd down running back.
Not bad. I mean, 4.9 average last year for him. You saw the Toyota red zone statistic, and that's 5th in the NFL in the red zone, but they're set back after the penalty now. Too much time, just too much time for the Houston quarterback, and threw that one out of bounds.
It's going to be a big challenge now. Tremaine Brock on Andre Johnson, and he just gets right in his hip pocket and covers him perfectly. I think Matt Schaub wanted to really throw to the swing route, and I'll have to give Keaton Christic some good words there and some good props for getting out on that swing route. Schaub had nowhere to go with the football.
Second down and 20. Second down and goal for the 49ers. Third straight drive with 10 or more plays for Matt Schaub.
Watch Aldon Smith up here. Really want him to get his pad level down.
And it's the draw, and it's Tate. Tate, nice cutback and gets back to the 12-yard line. Williams makes the stop for the 49ers.
How about that read? How about that vision? All the good backs have it. Here's the guy that gets blocked, Larry Grant by Owen Daniels. And look at that read by the running back.
Yeah, he saw 27, C.J. Spillman, then get cut right back inside.
Run to the daylight. Patience and vision, always the two biggest assets, certainly when you talk about between the tackle power runners, and that's what Ben Tate is.
Well, look at the three receivers to the bottom, Andre Johnson to the top. Job into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston Texans. Owen Daniels, again, one of his favorite receivers with a 12-yard touchdown, a 2009 Pro Bowl tight end at 38 receptions, 471 yards, and 2 scores a year ago.
And watch what he gets behind Larry Grant right here, 54. I mean, you got no chance. That is so easy for a guy like Matt Schaub and for Owen Daniels, who is a seasoned route runner, just to get around the outside linebacker in front of the safeties, perfectly executed. They are getting chiseled in the passing game.
So with 8:24 now left to go in the second quarter, after that 7-0 start on the Ahmad Brooks interception return, 17 unanswered for Houston. Back 11 plays, 63 yards, 5 minutes and 40 seconds, and Owen Daniels, nice recovery for Daniels. Maybe he had that ACL surgery in 2009. He was not at 100% last year, so he's going to be much better this year. But look at Alex Smith. You know, remember the game against New Orleans? Struggled as they came up with 18 blitzes on the Niner quarterbacks against Oakland. Pretty good, but it's a struggle tonight, Tim.
Dennis, they've had 8 plays, and you compare that to the 32 play attempts by the Houston offense. I'm not so sure, and no, I am sure. I don't like the plan of wholesale changes on your defense with all your backups against a powerhouse offense like that. How can that possibly help anybody's confidence on this football team on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I think Harbaugh's going with his plan regardless of what Houston had planned to do. He did not react to Houston's decision to play the starters for 3 quarters.
I understand that logic, and it's totally unconventional, as you said in the open. I mean, typical dress rehearsal here in the 3rd week of the preseason for the regular season. But look, I could see sprinkling in some ones that get to play with the ones against the ones. But when you're making wholesale changes, you got backups all over the field against first stringers for the Houston Texans.
Tim, you've made the point throughout the preseason, Harbaugh isn't showing anything. Most of what the 49ers are accomplishing, they're accomplishing in practice. It's been a very vanilla game plan. Jobs are being won and lost primarily at practice.
No, I get that, but I just don't know what you can get out of all your 2s together versus the 1s. Again, sprinkling a couple of guys in, I think, is a great way to gauge guys because they got their own 1s around them.
I think Neil Rackers got frustrated with the ball falling out the tee, so he finally kicked it out of bounds. 49ers will try to get a drive going when we come back. The temperature here, Tim, just changed about 20 degrees.
They may pull out the parkas over on the Houston sideline. You know, it's 110 in Houston today. This weather for these guys was like, are you kidding me? I got up this morning, went through a walkthrough. They said they were giddy because of the temperature. I'm not used to this. There's Cap.
Cap at quarterback now for the 49ers. Alex Smith, not a great series today for San Francisco. Kaepernick, hands off, nothing doing there. Anthony Dixon stopped immediately, and that is J.J. Watt. Let's go down to Kim Coyle.
All right, thanks. There's one thing Core really likes about Coach Harbaugh, and it has nothing to do with football. It's the fact that he...
I think that the fog has knocked out Kid Coyle's mic.
There's that truck.
Yeah, you see that spider web? There's a spider that lives in there, incomplete, looking for a Conrad Ruland at the 20-yard line. Nice job defensively. Kareem Jackson was all over him.
And Jim Harbaugh does drive that pickup truck, and there's the spider web, and Coach Harbaugh says he has not washed that truck since March because he doesn't want to kill the spider. As a matter of fact, he hasn't named it yet, but it's his only friend, Dennis, outside the team and his family.
He admits
right now.
He admits he has conversations with the spider.
He's Googled how long they live and how long they spin and how exactly they spin their webs.
3rd down and 12.
Whoa.
Quite a web being spun by the Houston defense right now. Kaepernick over the middle, and it's complete. Boy, nice job by Delaney Walker to go up and get that football. And then Glover Quinn tackled him, but a gain of 15, first down.
And there's Delaney there, and he's going to get right in front of the safety, and this ball's up high, and he is just about to get tattooed by Glover Quinn. Really good job by Delaney Walker corralling that football, capturing it out of the air, and then holding on to it. Nice catch.
And Kendall Hunter, remember he had the big game last week and broke a tackle there, gets to the 40, across the 40, picks up about 7 or 8 yards. Broke loose last week against Oakland, 9 carries, 105 yards.
I love the cutback on the inside zone play, and that is just classic right there. You block the front side, you chop down the backside of the defensive line, and you give the cutback running lane to Kendall Hunter, who has shown very good vision here early in his rookie season with the 49ers in training camp.
Pickup of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Out of the lone setback, 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Kaepernick on the blitz, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. And he was looking for Braylon Edwards. But they came with the heat that time, did the Texan defense.
Absolutely, and Kendall Hunter did not pick up the blitz on time, and lucky Colin Kaepernick was able to get it out early because Kendall Hunter was sifting and looking to the right. Sharpton came from his left, and it was a late pickup for Kendall Hunter, and he's been very good at pass protection. That wasn't one of his better ones right there.
So it'll be 3rd down and 3. Ronald Johnson, receiver in motion. I got Edwards and Johnson at the top of your screen. And Edwards throw, and it's deflected and incomplete. And there's a flag as Kaepernick might have been hit late. Connor Borwin.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 90. Contact ahead of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Watch the athleticism of Mario Williams. Kendall Hunter going to try to chop him down. No chance. And Mario at 295 pounds hurdles him and then does put his forehead right into the ear hole of Colin Kaepernick. That's a good call by Tony Corrente.
Mario.
Oh, he can be dominant, Dennis.
Sure can.
Dominant.
And now he's moving to that defensive end position to the linebacker spot. So there's been a transition period here, and some of the fans don't like it in Houston. First down for the 49ers, extending the drive. Not much doing that time for the 49er rookie running back. Pickup of 1, maybe 2.
Well, a lot of fans in Houston don't like it, but they're going to see the same of Mario Williams. He is predominantly going to rush the passer. That's what he does. And even though they'll call it a 3-4 defense with 3 down and they'll call him an outside linebacker, he's really not an outside linebacker, Dennis, in this defense. He sets the edge in the run game on the perimeter, and 8 out of 10 times versus the pass, he's going to be the guy rushing the passer off the edge.
You remember that 06 triathletes, Reggie Bush or Mario Williams, and they had a lot of heat for taking Mario instead of Reggie, and they made the right choice. Kaepernick on the fake. Has time, throws down, and it's intercepted. And there's going to be some return time. Cross the 30, and he might go, and 10, and touchdown for Troy Nolan. 63-yard return. Intercepted his first 2 passes of his career in the same game against the Raiders last October, and this one goes for 6.
And read the eyes of the quarterback the whole time. And look at Colin Kaepernick is staring down the wide receiver, and then watch him undercut it. I mean, that's easy for Nolan. Braylon Edwards sitting out there right down the numbers, waiting on the football. That ball came out late. It was telegraphed. Nolan was all over it. And then, of course, when you got offensive linemen trying to chase him down, that's not going to happen.
That is not going to work. Kaepernick, I thought Colin rebounded well against the Raiders last week. He was tough against New Orleans, 9 of 19, 117, and 2 interceptions, and was sacked 4 times. But the Niners, a lot more controlled game for him last week, but obviously the interception return right there by Nolan. 5:31 left to go in the half, 24-7. 5 Go 49ers or visit 49ers.com for season ticket packages that include the September 11th home opener against the Seahawks, the September 18th showdown with the Cowboys, and the regular season home finale on Monday night, December 19th against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Niner quarterbacks, 3 of 7, 32 yards, and an interception. It has not been good, and remember, they're going to face the first-team defense of Houston for 3 quarters. Chris Culliver there to take the football at the 11-yard line, and Culliver finds a little daylight, gets across the 20 to the 23-yard line. Taken down by Jason Allen. Return of 13 yards, and let's see if the Niner can get something going offensively. And Kaepernick, until that interception, was moving the team. Now we got an injured 49er. Or injured Texan, excuse me.
Dennis, it's a tough transition. I mean, for anybody going from college football to the National Football League, especially at the hardest position there is to play, and I think all of sports, quarterback. And Colin Kaepernick, a tremendous record-setting athlete at Nevada, but it was a pistol offense. He was in the shotgun all the time. It was really a simplified passing attack. And they were able to win a lot of games, and they certainly hammered a lot of defenses with big-time numbers. But in this league, with these defenses and these secondaries, and it's not about what Colin Kaepernick sees at the line of scrimmage in this league. Quarterbacks need to know what they're seeing after the snap. They call it post-snap. And everything typically is going to change in terms of the secondary, and it's hard for these young, inexperienced eyes in a traditional passing offense like we have here now with Jim Harbaugh, to get it right and to be on time. So that time he was late on the throw, and he was telegraphing a deep route, 2 major no-nos in the Sunday afternoon league.
Well, we want to know what you think. The 12th man message board, what do you think about the 49ers offense right now? And as Tim points out, Colin Kaepernick. And, a couple of weeks when I was meeting with Jim Harbaugh, I brought up that question, Tim. I said, in a perfect world, would you like Colin just to sit for a year, just to observe, based on what you said about the Nevada offense? And he said, I'd be comfortable with him not only as the number 2 behind Alex Smith, but the number 1.
Did you believe him?
No. I think he ridiculed the question, in fact. Takes it across the 25 to the 28, and I think we're still getting a feel for Jim and how he operates. And
Colin's going to be fine. Look, he's a smart kid. He's really, really bright. He's coachable. He works really hard. He's one of the first guys in the building every day. He's certainly one of the last ones to leave. It's just going to be a work in progress. This league now is a tough nut to crack.
Dixon and Moran Norris. And Moran Norris, too, with the emergence of Bruce Miller, could be fighting for a fullback job here. And it's Dixon, and not much doing for Anthony Dixon. We're talking about the 2 running backs with Jim Harbaugh. I'm talking about the backups, of course, with Anthony Dixon. And, they're 2 different sizes, right? One's 5'7", and this guy weighs almost 250 pounds. But both can run between the tackles. But certainly right now it's the rookie back, Kendall Hunter, who has looked far better in the preseason. So it'll be 3rd down and 4. Kyle Williams now in the game at receiver for the 49ers. Hunter in the backfield. Kaepernick, quick drop back, and it's dropped. It was in and out of the hands of Delaney Walker, but he had that football.
And that's what Colin Kaepernick can do when he knows where he's going with the football and he's on time with it. I mean, that was a very good throw to Delaney Walker on time. There's Delaney there. He's going to want to just a little square out. That's a perfectly thrown ball. Now, it had a lot of juice on it in terms of velocity and speed on that football, but certainly one Delaney Walker should have caught right past the first down sticks.
So that's a second 3 and out. Jacoby Jones on the punt from Pelescu, and look out, Jones has got room. Pelescu made the tackle, and then the ball got loose and it went out of bounds. So Houston's going to have it, but the 49er punter Paul Pelescu hit 53-yard punt, 36-yard return, but he may have saved the touchdown.
Hey, if he's not going to
fumbled forward and out of bounds, will be returned to the spot of the fumble. It is Houston's ball, first down.
Another hiccup. Look at right down the middle of the field, and guys just can't disengage and get off blocks. Listen, if Pelescu doesn't make it as the punter with Andy Lee, obviously the incumbent and going to be the punter here when his hip gets right, maybe you line him up at right tackle on the punt team. Just let him go down and hit people and knock the football out. That was impressive.
Well, the Niners could use a break right now. They have allowed 24 unanswered points. The offense has done nothing.
Now they got the threes out there. Now they have got the threes. The bulky DeMarcus Dobbs, these guys up front, they've sprinkled them in with the backups in terms of the second string guys still against this juggernaut offense of the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Houston will just continue to march downfield, ball at the 35-yard line after the completion to Kevin Walter. 3:34 left to go in the first half, 24-7, the Houston Texans.
That ball's out.
See if the Niners finally caught the break that they've been looking for. I think it's a unanimous decision on the part of the 49ers' opinion. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. But that one does.
Someone in the secondary, because there was a lot of people up in there on Derek Ward as he was trying to pick up extra yards. Someone in the secondary came up and just blistered Derek Ward and knocked that football out. It looks like it was Tremaine Brock. Yeah, that ball is coming out right there, and the knee was not on the ground. Hard to see who stepped up and forced it, but as Ward was trying to pick up extra yards, I'd be surprised if Kubiak doesn't throw the challenge flag here.
Well, Alex Smith is coming back into the game now at quarterback. And Jim Harbaugh told us that that is what he was going to do. So he's trying to get both quarterbacks looks at the first team defense. Smith throws, pass batted at the line of scrimmage. And I think it was Sean Cody who got that football. It was. And the smattering of boos coming down from the crowd. What's the strategy here, Tim, to go from Smith to Kaepernick back to Smith?
I frankly, Dennis, I have no idea. I mean, I'm going to be curious to see what they do down 17 points in the second half. If they're going to come out running the football or if they're going to try to play some catch up and throw the football. Clearly, they're sticking with their plan. Down 17, and they're just running the ball.
Another nice job by Hunter, and he gets near a first down. Needed to get to the 41-yard line, but I think it's important to note that all the Niners' starting offensive linemen are in the game.
Right, but they've got backup receivers out there playing with the starting line. Nice big hole there, and that's what you do against a team that's doing a good job rushing the passer.
Well, I guess
run the draw at them, and they got all those defensive linemen
has reported as eligible
to get up the field, and then handed it off for a nice pickup on the draw. But clearly, winning is not important here for Jim Harbaugh. They're down 17 and running the football.
And it's Hunter, and he needed less than a yard, and he was stacked up at the line of scrimmage. And J.J. Watt and Brian Cushing make the stop, and it'll be fourth down.
J.J. Watt is going to be a dominant player, I believe, Dennis, in the NFL. First-round pick out of Wisconsin. This guy's motor is cranked up to the red line for 60 minutes every game.
That's what they say.
Really, really impressive.
Only works in one gear, and he's going to be a good one. And they've really focused free agency and the draft.
The 2-minute warning.
And the draft on trying to improve that defense. If they improve the defense, Houston will be playoff bound. 2-minute warning, 24-7. 2-minute warning at Candlestick Park. I think initially the 49ers were going to go for it And now Pelescu has come back on the field. Last second move by Jim Harbaugh to try and throw a little confusion into the Houston defense, I believe.
Dennis, I understand Jim's got his plan, and it's unconventional and it's a changeup, but this is a game of confidence. And right now, the psyche and the confidence of the 49ers across the board cannot be very good. We're 2 weeks away from the opener.
Jacoby Jones will get the ball on a nice hop at the 20. And he had a 38-yard return last time. Now there's a flag as he gets down at the 20-yard line. 36-yard punt, 6-yard return by Pelescu, was probably hoping for an opportunity to make another tackle.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 86. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's James Casey called for the flag.
And there it is right there on Larry Grant. Just gets hammered from behind by James Casey. You saw the first guy down there, though, 51, Blake Costanzo, who was in Cleveland with Brad Seeley and knows all of Brad's stuff in terms of special teams. He was certainly the hired guy to be a core player here for the special teams.
Yeah, Timmy says Costanzo brings kind of an aura to the rest of the unit, special team unit. Christic and Tremaine Brock in on the tackle of Owen Daniels.
I'll be curious to see what Gary Kubiak does coming out here in the third quarter, if in fact he does stick with his starters in what's been a very, very lopsided game.
Hurry up offense, Schaub to the 25, and he gets the first down. Well, even he's probably a little surprised, right?
Houston, this is their first. This is the 32nd timeout.
This is a chance for Houston now to work the 2-minute offense. So Schaub playing it for real, as the Texans have been with their first-string offense and first-string defense in the first half.
Boy, so far so good when you look at what's happened defensively today for the Houston Texans, and you couple that with Gary Kubiak, who he is as a coach, an offensive-minded coach with that quarterback and Matt Schaub and all the production. And you see Greg Knapp. There's Greg Knapp, the old 49er offensive coordinator, big part of the staff there with the Houston Texans. I mean, you get that defense humming a little bit, and it's been great today. There's no doubt that they will be the favorite in the AFC South.
Third down. And it's Owen Daniels. He is really going to have a big season, I think. He's 100%. Culliver makes the tackle, and that'll move the chains once again. Well, the issue, of course, is the defense for Texans. They allowed 267 yards a game, 33 touchdown passes last season. So they drafted cornerbacks Brandon Harris and Rock Carmichael, picked up free agents Jonathan Joseph and Daniel Manning. You remember they were in that sweepstakes for Nnamdi Asomugha.
And they didn't get him, but they got the next best thing in Jonathan Joseph, who was definitely the second best corner on the market in free agents.
Owen Daniels again at the 38. Maju Williams makes the tackle for the 49ers. He picks up 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5. Clock under a minute to go. Hurry up offense for the Texans. Leading the 49ers 24-7 and looking to add more. And it's complete. Johnson with the football. And he's got the first down. And that'll stop the clock.
Timeout. Houston, this is their second. This is the 32nd timeout.
A lot of weapons on that offense too. Andre Johnson, a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's going to pass the 10,000-yard plateau in receiving yards this year. And if you look at just 13 games last year, he got 86 passes for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Now those numbers are ridiculous. And if there was a receiver that I had to pick to start a team with in the NFL, that would be my top guy. That would be my first pick in terms of the wideouts, Andre Johnson. I really believe he's the best in the game, and it's not just what he does, and he's so quiet and unassuming in terms of verbally, but physically he will intimidate you, and it's not just in the passing game now. You think of Arian Foster and those 1,600-plus yards, a big part of it was blocks by the wide receivers out on the perimeter. He can dominate a corner physically when he's blocking.
First down and 10. Ball just outside the 45-yard line. Niners come on the blitz. It's picked up by Houston and incomplete. Jones, the intended receiver. Chris Maragos over there defensively for the 49ers. Will be second down now with 40 seconds left. I don't think a lot of the Texans get their share of the recognition, Tim, and I think part of that is they got to make it to the playoffs. They have not been to the playoffs.
And their nemesis has been Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts, who have pretty much held that perch year after year after year. Maybe that's going to change with some of the issues in Indianapolis, in particular Peyton Manning's problems with his neck.
Incomplete. Daniels, and the ball goes loose, and scramble for the football. Niners claiming they have it, and they do.
Gotta like that.
Well, on the bright side, the 49ers have forced a couple of turnovers. Larry Grant is the one who looked like he knocked it, and then C.J. Spillman comes up with the football.
Putting the hat right on the football. You're going to make a tackle in the open field on a tight end. Watch right here, Larry Grant. Boom! Put his hat and maybe his right shoulder, but certainly the first contact was on the pigskin on the football and just knocked it out from under the arm of Owen Daniels.
Well, that's the one positive. Niners are +2 in the turnover category. 3 for Houston, 1 for the 49ers. Smith at quarterback, 29 seconds left. Ball at the 47-yard line. Niners have a chance to put some points on the board. And here they come. And Smith hit as he throws, and that one is nearly intercepted. Bryce McCain is the man who came in, but Smith nailed as he threw that football.
Now Brian Cushing just rocked him, and they cannot block Antonio Smith. Watch 94 coming from the left. Right there, Alex has to step up, and now Brian Cushing gets the hit coming up the middle. They have had problems blocking that group up front today. Not a lot of play opportunities, not a lot of pass opportunities when they've had them here for San Francisco. The quarterbacks have been harassed, to say the least.
All backup receivers in there for San Francisco. Smith under pressure, hits again, and it's intercepted. Troy Nolan, his second pick. One was for a touchdown, and listen to the boos come. 16-yard interception return, but Smith is, like he did in New Orleans, is not getting much time to throw the football.
He can't even get to his back step, and if he does, when he steps up, hitches and steps up, watch 94 again. Antonio Smith just flash out of nowhere, and he and Connor Barwin takes him low, Antonio Smith takes him high, forces the ball up in the air, playing center field. Nolan, they got no chance, the 49ers offense right now in this game.
So the Texans have 1 timeout left and 13 seconds with which to work.
Timeout, San Francisco. This is their first. It's a 30-second timeout.
Well, we saw the significant improvement, Tim, with the 49ers offensive line last week against Oakland, but this appears to be a significant setback, similar to what we saw in week 1.
Well, and it's what I said at the start of the game, and keeping the quarterback clean. And this team came in with 11 sacks in 2 games. And they have they have turned up the dial, and it hasn't always been with the pressure packages. It's not like they're sending what Greg Williams did, sending 6 and 7 guys on a full-blown, all-out blitz. I mean, they are sending 5 guys, 4 guys, and Alex or Colin Kaepernick have, frankly, 0 time to be able to let the routes develop and deliver the football.
Schaub throws, and he throws it out of bounds now with 6 seconds left.
And I don't know what Jim's going to tell the team at halftime in terms of going and talking to the guys, but his plan has backfired here in the first half.
So this will probably be the last play of the half, mercifully for the 49ers. And Tate takes the football, and he gets out of bounds, but the time expires. In the first half, a very disappointing one for the 49ers, and the boos are coming out 24-7 at halftime. 49ers come out, they score the first 7 points, the interception by Ahmad Brooks for the touchdown of Schaub. And let's go down to Kim Coyle.
All right, thanks, Dennis. Coach, a nice pick 6 to start the game, but then just 23 plays on offense after that. What are you going to do in the second half?
We're going to execute better. You're right. First play of the game, we haven't been able to sustain offensive play.
Well, I'll translate. We just weren't very good, Kim. We're going to have to do much better, but thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate it. We're at halftime, and the Houston Texans lead the 49ers 24-7. We're getting ready to begin the third quarter. Joining us in the booth now is 49er owner Jed York. And Jed, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
I know it was a difficult situation last week with the Raiders. Tonight it is different. You guys have stepped up security, and you have spent some time in the stands with the fans tonight.
Yeah, I sat in upper 50, and, I guess fortunately I didn't get to see most of the first half. It didn't look like I missed much. But it was great. I had a chance to talk to a lot of fans. And it's one thing to say that you think your stadium is safe and it's, you want to up your security. It's another thing to sit out there with your wife and show that it's safe. And I want to make sure everybody understands that last week was an anomaly.
Hey, you know what I love, bro, is you got jeans, you got a pullover. You know what? I got to take the tie off while you're up here. I promise you. We got to all go casual.
I like it.
With the owner up here wearing jeans and a pullover.
Well,
how was it being out there? Was it good?
It was great. I had to kind of sneak into this. I had a jacket and a button-up.
Well, you always have a jacket
shirt.
and a button-up on.
So I snuck into this, and I got out there without too many people knowing because I didn't want to make a big deal about it.
Right.
And it was nice to be out there, and, one person recognized me, and then it kind of grew from there. And it was just cool to sit down with fans that, come from all over the place. And, I was talking to Danielle, and it's like, I'd rather quit my job and go buy season tickets and sit up there. It's a lot more fun.
How was the vibe? What did the fans have to tell you?
They were fired up. They say, we know last week was just an anomaly. This is not how it normally is. We know it's a great place to watch a game. And there's so many people with their families. And it was nice to meet everybody with their families. I met somebody, who lost her father, who's been a season ticket holder for a long time. And just seeing that and seeing the emotion that she had, knowing that there's been a connection there for a long time. You just see that, and you see it I saw a baby that was at his first game and got to take a picture with him. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun to meet all these people. It's a lot more fun than watching.
It wasn't the first time, I got to tell you, Jed. Kendall Hunter, though, this guy has really been a revelation for the 49er offensive backfield. And, if you're judging on this game, or actually the entire preseason, Kendall Hunter looks like he could be winning that the job behind Frank Gore.
Kendall's doing a great job.
Yeah. So is there anything that the 49er fans said? Were they inquisitive? Did they want to know how you felt personally about what took place last week? Were they agreeing with you, hey, this never happens here?
A lot of people apologized and said, we're sorry that we didn't step up and take care of things last week because that's just not how we act. That's not what we do. And it was great. And they were thankful that I was out there and showing them that I support them and that I believe in the safety that's here. I believe in the fan friendliness that's here and that this is a great family environment.
Can I tell you what, a little bit of feedback I got, Jed, is that people do like the Battle of the Bay. There's a lot of passion there. You know that.
Absolutely.
And some fans think, well, did you have to go that far to cancel the Battle of the Bay? Or not that it's been officially canceled, but that's something you're strongly considering.
I think that's our recommendation. When you look at the anomaly last week, when you get that many incidents and you've seen incidents when we played against the Raiders in the past, it doesn't make sense to put anybody in a position where you can have unnecessary things happen. And I would much rather err on the side of safety than having something that doesn't work and that you create a problem like you saw last week. Now, that doesn't mean that we're never going to play the Raiders and we're not going to work with the Raiders. But I think for the time being, it makes sense to kind of let tempers settle down a little bit.
And with the way the scheduling goes, you'll play them every 4 years in the regular season. So that's definitely still going to happen. How about some of the changes, Jed, in terms of the tailgating after the game starts, the seat accountability for the season ticket holders and being able to track maybe who got in trouble and, if they bought that ticket from a season ticket holder for a preseason game. So definitely some things have changed a little bit.
Well, even when you look at the guy that was, in suspicion for the shooting last week, and it sounds like he was the one for both people. There's no evidence that he actually came into the building.
Wow.
So when you see that, you want to make sure that those folks don't have a chance to stay in the parking lot, and you want to make sure that the parking lot is safe.
Quarterback for the Houston Texans, Gary Kubiak, initially said that his starters were going to play 3 quarters, but he's called off the Dogs with Houston in control, and I think he saw what he needed to from his starting units. Tate, the ball carrier, gets across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Alden Smith, the initial tackle and made a nice hit, and we got a flag.
And forced a hold, too, while he did it.
Offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Nice job by Alden Smith there, playing the run against the tight end, and the tight end had to hold him to keep him out of the backfield from getting a tackle for loss. And you are right. And with Matt Leinart, now you've got the backups in terms of the offensive line out there for the Houston Texans. I just wonder how true of a barometer Gary Kubiak really got on his football team in that first half, going against, really, frankly, a lot of second-teamers here for the 49ers on defense.
That's a great point. I'm not sure that was a situation he actually welcomed. Well, Leinart's struggles are pretty well documented. Looking for Jones, Culliver, good coverage there by the 49ers. But if you go back, 05, remember Leinart decided to stay at SC, and there was speculation that if he came out, he could have been in a 49er uniform instead of Alex.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be tough for me to draft a USC guy, but
hey, easy. You're standing next to one right here, bro. I know you're an owner and everything, but come on. You know, I thought a real statement when Pete Carroll didn't go after Matt Leinart over the last couple of years when he was available. That, to me, was a much bigger statement than anything else on Matt Leinart's level of play.
Tate carries the football, gets across the 25 to the 26-yard line, shy of a first down. Well, they had conversations, Tim, in the offseason, and Carroll was interested in Matt Leinart, but Leinart believes he has a pretty good situation here. He had
What's the situation here versus Seattle, frankly? I mean, he's going to be a backup to Matt Schaub. It was wide open up in Seattle.
Yeah, well, he's got a pretty darn good offensive line. And Mike might, if I'm looking at it from his perspective, maybe he takes the impression, well, this is a place I can learn, watch for a couple of years. And, heck, we've seen firsthand that's probably what any good young quarterback needs. Tate with the ball, and he gets close to a first down. Or third down. He needed 13 yards for the first down. He got close to the original line of scrimmage. Would have got Navarro Bowman, makes the tackle for the 49ers.
All in all, Jed, have you been pretty happy? I mean, the first half's been ugly, obviously, with the way things went, playing some of the twos versus their ones. But all in all, you've been happy with Jim and the staff and the team so far here in training camp?
Yeah, very, very happy with Jim and the staff and everything that we're doing. And, you know, you're really planning for Seattle. You're trying to get ready for that. You're trying to get some looks of guys. But you can't take the preseason too seriously. Again, we won 4 games last year. It didn't mean anything.
That's right, 7-1 over the last 2 years.
You know, you need to keep seeing the team get better, and a lot of that happens in practice, not necessarily in a preseason game.
Well, Jed, we appreciate you coming in. Nice job with the fans tonight.
Thank you very much.
Continue. You look good in jeans, bud.
Thanks. It's nice. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to it.
We'll be back.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jed.
A guy like Gore to look up to and follow in his footsteps and just watch him because he a great back and a great role model. And so just here, just learning a lot from him right now.
So, Kendall Hunter, the good story for the 49ers tonight and has been all preseason. Kaepernick back at quarterback for the 49ers, and he's got Long. Gets across the 35 to the 38-yard line. He will be shy of the first down, but he picks up 9 yards.
Love that little play for young quarterbacks, for Colin Kaepernick. It just give him one read, get him out on the edge, and roll him out here. Now he's got the read right in front of him, and Lance Long, make it easy. And you can just see his athletic ability now. Pressure in his face, it does not alarm him whatsoever because he's got great confidence in his ability, his skill sets athletically.
Dixon will get the first down, needed to get to the 39, and he's got the first down for the 49ers. Now let's talk a quick shot of Frank Gore, and what do you read into the fact that Frank is not playing tonight? Doesn't play that much in the preseason, but he is in that contract dispute.
He is, and Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, as Kim said earlier, will be in here Monday to try to get something worked out with Trent Baalke. It's a tricky situation, it really is. When you think of Frank, and I know he's a dominant player, and I know you go back the last 5 years, and Frank Gore has certainly been one of the most productive backs in all the National Football League. But he's also 28 years old, and I know he's looking for, top 5 running back money. So if you're Trent Baalke and you're the 49er front office, yes, he's your best player offensively, but the money really does have to make sense, when you really start projecting out and start thinking 3-4 years down the road. for Frank Gore. I'm pulling for him. I hope he gets every bit of what he's looking for because he's not only a great back, he's a great person.
They're ready to throw. And good time that time from another quarterback, but it's incomplete. Really threw it into a sea of white jerseys. Kane there on the coverage, batted the ball away.
But it is a tricky situation, and a lot trickier, Dennis, than it is on the surface for Frank Gore. In terms of, yeah, here he wants the money, let's just go pay him. There's a lot more to it than that.
But how much of that really depends on whether or not the 49ers think they can make a playoff run this year? Or, you know Harbaugh's expectations. He said, hey, let's just get better day by day. I haven't heard the word playoffs come out of his mouth.
Well, he's not going to say that. But Frank is a great player, and he'll help you get to the playoffs. I often ask myself, though, in these kind of situations and knowing this league, what would a guy like Bill Belichick do? And I think if you're Trent Baalke, and maybe it's different here with Trent and this organization because of what Frank is and what he's meant, but something tells me a guy like Bill Belichick would just say, look, you got 1 year left on your deal. We're going to run you. We're going to run you for 16 games, and then we'll talk about it in the offseason.
Conrad Rulin with the reception, tight end out of Stanford, but far short of the first down. It'll bring up another punting situation for the 49ers. Sam Pelescu doing the punting for the 49ers because Andy Lee was injured last week. Andy Lee is expected to be okay, and he has been doing the holding tonight. And that one makes its way into the end zone. It'll be a touchback come out to the 20, and that's where the Texans will have the football. Matt Leinart is the quarterback right now, and they lead the 49ers 24-7. Park, and the winds are howling here. And the temperature has dropped significantly, and it's a tough game if you're a 49er fan to watch this. 24-7, but not unpredictable because Jim Harbaugh said he was going to game plan exactly the way that we've seen. 1st and 10 tonight, presented in part by Cosmopolitan Catering, Silicon Valley's premier full-service caterer. Visit cosmocaters.com.
And here's where you really want to test the mettle and the psyche of your players. I mean, down 17 points. It's clearly been a lopsided game. How many of these guys are going to have fight in them till the last second ticks off the clock in the fourth quarter? And how many guys are going to lay down and not want to be out there? If I know Jim and what a grinder he is in terms of the blue collar and the work ethic of the guys that he's put on this football team and how they practiced here in training camp, I think you'll see tremendous effort.
Second down, 9, and a nice delivery liner to Jones, and he gets the first down. Time for a Bud Light trivia question. Which franchise won the most American Football League championships? I think I know that one. Tim?
Baltimore?
That was my guess.
The Baltimore Colts.
First down from Matt Leinart. Leinart was talking about the decision to stay in Houston, which he would have had the opportunity to try and start had he gone to Seattle. Chris Obanaya with his first carry of the day for Houston. But he said that he did want to learn from Schaub and Gary Kubiak, who happens to handle quarterbacks fairly well. And if you're going to learn from a starting quarterback, then Schaub is a good one to learn from. But if you look at Leinart's history, he was drafted 10th by the Cardinals in 06, played in 12 games as a rookie, and then he went down with an injury, and of course Kurt Warner played the next 2.5 seasons. Throw down the middle and a beautiful pass inside the 50-yard line, and it is complete to James Casey. C.J. Spillman makes the tackle, but this might be the one time in Leinart's career we can sit back and just watch.
3 deep, and it's going to come right in between Christic and Mediu Williams. And C.J. Spillman's the last line of defense. The safety there's got to chop him down for the tackle. From what I'm hearing, Dennis, on Matt Leinart is, and that's a nice play there, rolling out to his left and delivering that baby on time, is he's being challenged now by T.J. Yates, the number 3 quarterback here with the Houston Texans, who they're very, very excited about it in terms of his future.
Well, then maybe he should have gone to Seattle.
And I think there's one point, because you were a great college player, and I could even speak for myself, and I don't want to say I was great, but I was able to get it done in college. It never means that you're going to transition and assimilate into pro football and really have that same impact. So many guys just are not the same when they get into this league.
Tate Grant, nice hit by the 49er linebacker. Tate, the running back. Larry Grant has had a nice preseason as well for the 49ers.
He sure has. And watch Larry Grant here. It's stacked up by the D-line. He is going to stack right there and then come off and make the tackle. And listen, they need some depth when you talk about those inside linebackers and those backups to Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. And Larry Grant, not only on special teams, but how he's functioned on defense, has made a real statement to be one of those guys.
And Keaton Christick, the inside linebacker, also looking for a spot on the 53-man. Liner on the blitz, Grant coming, and he got rid of the football. And Christick makes the tackle along with Applewhite, but a good job by the Houston quarterback to get rid of that football. So what you're saying then is this is a pretty significant game for Matt Liner.
Absolutely, sure is. Did a nice job there because Larry Grant came completely unblocked with an inside linebacker pressure. Blitz right up inside the A gap in between the guard and the center, unblocked, and Leinart was able to get it out to the tight end.
So it'll be 3rd down and 4. Tate, man of the backfield for Houston. A fake to him. Good protection, steps up and he throws, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Tate coming out of the backfield, Matthew Williams on the coverage, but it looks like somebody hit him or hit the ball as he threw. Bud Light trivia answer: which franchise won the most American Football League championships? The answer, well, we were both wrong. Kansas City Chiefs, who started as the Dallas Texans, won 3 AFL championships.
Tex Schramm.
Boy, what a career Tex Schramm had. So it'll be a 47-yard attempt. And the winds are swirling at the goalpost. But Rackers has been here before. And it's good. So from 47 yards out in the winds of Candlestick Park, the Texans now lead 27-7. Ahmad Brooks interception return off Matt Shaw, but then you got 10 in the first, 14 in the second, 3 in the third, 27 unanswered. While I'm telling you that, call 415-GO-49ers or visit 49ers.com for single season ticket packages that include the September 11th home opener against the Seahawks, the September 18th showdown with the Cowboys, and the regular season home finale Monday night, December 19th versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And 6 of those 27 points for the Texans came on their own pick six, an interception return for a touchdown by Nolan on Colin Kaepernick.
Chris Culliver back deep to receive for the 49ers. Culliver led the 49ers with 4 tackles last week. Rookie cornerback has done some nice things, stood out at practice. And that's a nice special teams tackle there. That was Shiloh Kao that came Culliver flying through the air. 27-7, 4:20 left to go, third quarter. Welcome back. You're looking at Greg Roman, the 49ers offensive coordinator, and he has finally admitted he will be the play caller. And Tim, at Stanford, there were 4 play callers for Jim Harbaugh. They had the running game. Roman called the passes, and on 3rd down, David Shaw called them. And then Harbaugh had a hand in it. Now it's going to be one man for the 49ers. You got to be a little quicker in the pro game, of course. Kaepernick to throw. It's 3 of 10, and it's Miller, the fullback, who makes the reception.
Well, I think Greg Roman is very, very capable. He has coached in the National Football League for a long time, and he said it was a bigger challenge going to Stanford and trying to get everything lined up in terms of the gridiron and the hash marks.
Hands to the face, offense number 78. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, 2nd down.
So that was a bigger challenge for him going back to the college game. Now back to the NFL, he feels more at home. And look, 40 points a game at Stanford. he's going to be the primary play caller, as you said. Now, Jim Harbaugh certainly has to okay the play call sheet as they go into the game. But there's a huge part of me that knows and certainly, realizes that they're laying in the weeds. They're waiting for week 1 against Seattle, and they are going to strike when they're ready offensively. Hopefully now, schematically, they'll be okay. Hopefully physically, they'll be able to hold up and be able to execute that.
Kendall Hunter, the running back, and he gets a couple of yards back. I think the Niners at this point trying to chew a little bit off the clock as, the way this game has gone. I think both teams now, the goal here, hey, let's get out. Let's finish up the final exhibition game, which for the 49ers will be in San Diego. But remember, there is a battle here between those backs. And what I wanted to ask you, Tim, about the running backs is, Kendall Hunter's had his great preseason. He came in 5th in the National Football League with 134 yards. But, Anthony Dixon at one point led the NFL in preseason rushing. Glenn Coffey did. Thomas Clayton did. So it's not all about numbers. Williams with the reception and a nice job. Niners able to get the first down. Kyle Williams, another nice preseason player for the 49ers. I think.
Well, here's Kyle Williams. You'll see him flash right in your screen on the square in crossing route. And again, when Colin Kaepernick is stepping up in the pocket and things are on time, he's going to look really, really good.
But the point I was making about the running backs is Dixon averaged only 3.4 yards a carry. Glenn Coffey's out of the league, and Thomas Clayton is with his 4th team, so you can't read that much into running totals.
No, it's really about the evaluation separate from the running totals. Now, you love to see that, and you love to see Kendall Hunter when he went the distance for that 53-yarder last week, but you want to see how these guys function in terms of where they fit, Dennis, in the running game. Every play is designed to go to a certain spot, and where they fit, how is their patience level, are they seeing the hole, how is their vision point, how are they in pass protection and picking up the blitz and blocking the pass rushers. Certainly a lot more to the evaluation than just simply looking at the statistics.
Kaepernick showing the mobility, able to get away, and now throws the ball out of bounds. He had 2 receivers over there, Johnson and Rulin. In fact, he had 3. Hunter was over there as well. Well, so far, Hunter 8 carries, 41 yards, Dixon 8 carries, 15 yards. And remember that Jim Harbaugh has had both playing against the same defenses for the Texans to try and get a better evaluation of who they're running against.
Well, here's my feeling. They're both going to make the football team. And I don't know that for sure. That's pure conjecture. But 2 different kind of runners. You got a 250-pound guy, and then you got Kendall Hunter, who, despite being 5'7", can run between the tackles, but brings a lot more to the game in terms of the return skills as well.
3rd down for Kaepernick, under pressure, look out, gets away, so that's twice he's been able to evade the sack deep downfield. Kyle Williams had a step, incomplete. Troy Nolan was the man on the coverage, but Kyle Williams is a player that's had a very strong preseason.
Kaepernick just makes it look easy. Watch Cap here just run away from the defense. I mean, he's got such great confidence in his ability to be able to extend the play. And then Kyle Williams, I mean, that's your traditional scramble drill. If you're shallow, go deep. If you're deep, come shallow. That time Kyle Williams was running a shallow route. He saw that Colin Kaepernick was extending the play and broke contain, took off deep, and Colin just overthrew him a little bit.
Yeah, then Colin might have got his first taste of that candlestick win on that pass too, Tim. And that one is down at the 1. Did it get in? No, that's down at the 1-yard line. So an excellent job getting down there. Colin Jones, a 61-yard punt, no return.
Colin Jones, who last week was the personal protector and did not get the count right when they had that blocked punt. There was only 10 guys on the field. Really a good job. Now that guy's got heat out of TCU, and I remember covering him a couple of years ago doing a college game. He can really, really run. And just talking to Brad Seeley, and that's why they drafted him late in the draft, because of his ability to play special teams. But when he gave up that and didn't count the number of guys last week, and obviously you need 11. There were only 10 on the field, and David Akers almost got killed on that blocked punt. Brad Seeley said it was like his kid that you gave your car keys to go out. Said he doesn't trust him anymore. He scratched his car, and he's going to take the keys away for a while. Looks like he gave him the keys back here late in the third quarter to get another test drive down the field.
Probably give him the keys to Harbaugh's truck. He can't hurt anything.
Would Jim say every head coach should have a pickup truck?
Well, you know, Frank Gore brought it up. He brought it up last week because he figures it's kind of a blue-collar thing, and Frank can relate to him.
Yeah, there's two of the core special teams guys there. Talked about Costanzo earlier. And here's the truck. Here's that blue Chevy. Look at the dirt on that thing.
6 months to save the Spider's life.
Can we get a name for that Spider?
Yeah, he did not have a name for the Spider. Leonard to pass in the fog, and he throws it out. Tate will get the first down at the 15-yard line. Pushed out by Spillman, and McKillop was over there.
You can see McKillop's not right still from that ACL, and he's wearing that big brace. And here you just got a little option route for Ben Tate, and McKillop's got him in man coverage, and just a hard time running there with the running back and staying in his hip pocket and coverage.
Yeah, it's Killop, fifth-round pick in '09. It really shined in the preseason a couple of years ago, and really looked like he was about to break out, and then he tore 2 knee ligaments in summer camp and was lost for the season. And he's in a battle right now with Keaton Christic, possibly for a spot. Takes it up the gut, picks up a couple of yards.
And that doesn't look like he's got that big cumbersome brace on either for this game. You look at McKillop, see if we can get a shot of that lower body and see if he's got that big old brace on. He does. There it is. There it is. That thing's made of titanium. I wore one myself. It goes all the way up around your thigh, as you can see there, and just gives you great stability.
That is the end of the third quarter.
In every direction.
So we're coming back with the fourth quarter. The Texans leading the 49ers 27-7. To play for Matt Shaw, picked off by Ahmad Brooks for a touchdown, and that is the only points the 49ers have been able to put on the board.
And that play was made with Ahmad Brooks' brain. I mean, just great recognition, knowing that Eric Winston was inviting him in to rush the passer and then feeling the screen behind him. That was just outstanding, and seeing it before it happened and then being able to execute when the ball was in the air and using those hands to get the football and run it in for a touchdown.
That was a nice job by Culliver that time on the pass. It was right in there, Doran Dickerson, and a nice job by the Niner cornerback.
You know, Culliver's been all over it tonight in terms of his coverage. He has played tight coverage. He's had a nice camp. This guy's got so much upside, Dennis. Coming out of South Carolina, third-round pick. He was a safety. He's got 1 year under his belt as a cornerback. You can see there at 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's got good size. He's just going to get better. He's had a nice camp. He's had a nice game in terms of tight coverage tonight.
Leinart, look out on the blitz. He got rid of it. Looked like Adams came on that, and Leinart again able to thread the needle and complete the pass.
I think Adams was afraid he was going to get a roughing the passer call. It looked like he held up there, Dennis, at the last second. He had a beeline on Matt Leinart. He'll come off the edge, and then watch here at the last second. He just kind of holds up a little bit. I think in fear of not getting a roughing the passer call. It's so hard for those guys, and especially guys back in the secondary that aren't used to getting after the quarterback in terms of being pressure players or blitzers.
Leinart 7 of 10 for 70 yards. Not much doing that time. But we were talking about Culliver having the fine preseason. You remember in the meeting with Dante Whitner, one of the players we talked about, and he did say that the one thing Culliver's got to do is keep that motor running at 100% all the time. So there's no questioning his skills.
Well, and that's part of it. At every level, you learn the tempo of the game. I mean, when you play in high school, there's a lot of loafing going on high school fields, believe it or not. You get to college, you realize, man, I got to play snap to whistle. And then up in the National Football League, it's maximum effort from the minute that ball snapped till that whistle blows by the official.
Second down at 6, Tate should be able to move the chains, and he'll get the first down yardage easily.
Because you never know. I mean, when the opportunity, a guy cuts back and you're loafing a little bit, you're not in the right spot, or whatever the case may be, you've always got to be on your toes giving maximum effort in this league.
Talking about McKillop and the brace, how you said it's good to keep his leg in place. What about mobility?
Well, it's really lightweight. It is, but I found it cumbersome for sure. I just found it bulky, and you just don't feel like you're the same player. This game is played with foot speed.
Tate again.
And anything that may you feel like, Dennis, from a even if it's not true confidence standpoint, you don't feel the same, and you don't feel like your feet may be as quick, and you just don't. It takes a toll now on your brain. McCullough there getting into the tight end, stacking it up.
I'm wondering if it would work the opposite way, because you know that your knee is protected, right? And mentally, can you say, okay, I can go at it 100% because I know my knee's
Well,
protected?
it does give you confidence in that regard, but I promise you that knee doesn't feel like it felt pre-surgery. Not
Right
yet.
now, Houston, this is their first.
So 12-19 left to go in the fourth quarter here. Candlestick 27-7, Houston in charge. Moved by Nissan to that man, Kendall Hunter, 8 carries, 40 yards. And you see that little cutback move, Tim? We've seen him really demonstrate that with a lot of consistency here in the preseason.
Well, what you like about it is it's a cutback, but it's not horizontal. He is getting downhill and getting vertical, and he's making moves while he's still moving forward, keeping his eyes open with great vision.
Look out, it's that man. We talked about him all preseason long, and DeMarcus Dobbs wants a spot on this football team, and every chance he gets, and he just came into the game, he makes an impact.
Second week in a row, he's got himself a sack, and again, it's just pure, oh, that's good stuff. Now, last week it was pure power. Look at the offensive lineman trying to hold on and hold him back. Last week it was pure power when he bull rushed and forklifted the guy into the quarterback. That was pretty nifty and savvy with his feet, getting on the edge. Of course, as a defensive lineman, you always want to work a half a man. He got right to the half a man, sunk the shoulder down, and was able to finish and roll his hips up through, and second sack in the last 2 games for him.
Came into the game leading the 49ers in tackles with 7, and as Tim mentioned, that's his second sack. And I was reading all the local beat writers today, and Dobbs has made an impression. The question and speculation is he going to be a practice player, practice squad player? But at this point,
I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe tough.
Dennis, you put him on the practice squad, a guy with those rare skills, because on the football field, he's big, he's long. He can two-gap, which means playing both sides of the offensive lineman with good long arm extension. He can rush the passer. We've seen that over the last couple of weeks. You put a guy like that on the practice squad, he will be snapped up in a heartbeat to another football team that'll put him on their active roster.
So you're saying he's played his way out of the roster?
I believe so.
Johnson, he got candlestick, Tim, and it's a Houston football, and that win clearly played with that football, and Johnson got a good taste of that right there. Only the second Houston punt of the night. It's this win will do crazy things with you, and it did right there.
Well, adequate time to be able to look. There's no halo rule in pro football, so the gunner or the defender's got to get him ample time to catch the football. He just took his eyes off it. Right when that ball hit him in the breadbasket, Ronald Johnson, you could see what he did. He picked his eyes up, picked his head up, and looked at the defender who was encroaching on him. Can't do that. You got to look that thing in, secure it before you decide to lift your head and take off.
Mail the receiver in motion.
There's Dobbs again.
Obania, his second carry. DeMarcus Dobbs with the tackle, so 9 tackles for him now in the preseason.
What a find for Trent Baalke, college free agent out of Georgia. Are you kidding me? A guy that's been that productive here in the preseason, playing a position that I can tell you from experience is brutally tough to transition from the college game to the interior game in the NFL.
Gain of 3 yards, second down and 7. Obania again, and nice job. Adia Williams just came up from the safety position to throw him for a loss.
Watch Medeo just fly in here, number 20. There was nowhere for Obania to go there, and Medeo Williams was kind of slow playing it from the inside out, trying to figure out if Obania was going to bounce or not. He didn't bounce, so Medeo Williams just shot his gun, fired through the gap. Got himself a very nice tackle to force a 3rd and long.
Medeo signed, was one of the first defensive backs to sign, as Leinart now calls a timeout on 3rd and 8.
Houston, this is their second.
So we've got a timeout with 9:41 left to go in the game. Texans leading the 49ers in the fall. Okay.
this year's 49er defense is it's not so specific, and it allows him the freedom to move around and just play football. The one thing we do know, this defense is going to cause chaos when they hit the first regular season game, but they're going to look good while doing so.
That's why me and Pat is so excited about it, and the cornerbacks get to, stand out there on the outskirts and look pretty and make plays. And
I don't know about a linebacker, but as a corner, you want to look pretty.
Well, start.
Want to look right, feel right. They pay right. Everybody know Deion line.
The former 49er Deion Sanders was inducted into Canton earlier this year. And Tim, I know you were there for that, but I doubt you were wearing two coats like I am right now.
It's cold down there, isn't it? You're not the only one, Kim. I see all these 49ers and some of the Houston Texans, they got the full-blown winter parkas on.
They're bundled up. I'll tell you what, I don't know how the 49er Gold Rush is doing it. I think a lot of those ladies are going to be sick tomorrow because they do not have coats on tonight.
Got to keep moving. Kim, start cheering. We'll see how I bet you get warm quick.
That's right.
Obadiah with the football gets to the 12-yard line. It'll bring up 4th down. Obadiah, the 7th round pick by the Rams in 09. Matter of fact, he got a TD pass from Matt Leinart in the 2016 win over the Jets, and there you see the Niners warming up on the sideline. Neil Rackers has already kicked a 48-yard field goal in this swirling wind. That time, piece of cake for the veteran kicker with 8:52 left to go in the football game. Houston adds to their lead.
Former of the game, presented by SunPower.
SunPower performers of the game, and Ahmad Brooks is one of those SunPower performers with the touchdown on the first offensive play of the game. Owen Daniels has the ball jarred loose. 49er defense creates a turnover. That's one thing the 49ers have been able to do is create turnovers. There's DeMarcus Dobbs.
Big Dobbs. We see you, Dobbs.
He is enjoying it.
There's one of the best in the business, Jim Tomsula, the defensive line coach there. He'll coach right to the end of this game. He doesn't care. Love Jim Tomsula.
Williams takes it about 8 deep in the end zone and breaks one tackle. Actually got across the 20 to the 23. Looked like he might be stopped prior to that. Talk about enthusiasm. This guy is so much fun to watch at practice, Jim.
He is, and he knows his craft now. Defensive line play has come so far in pro football, Dennis. It's not just about lining up.
Kicking team number 42. San Francisco has opted to have him re-kick after a 5-yard penalty.
It's not just about lining up as a defensive lineman and simply whipping the guy physically in front of you. There's really a craft to it. It's all about hand play. It's all about recognition and what you're seeing, what you're feeling. So many plays as a defensive lineman.
The clock operator, please reset the game clock to 8:42. 8:42, thank you.
So many plays you've got to make without being able to see him. You got to feel your way into it and, fight pressure. And look at him, he's using his hands there. Look, you're going to fight the pressure. You're two-gapping. Jimmy's just going to coach those guys right till the very end. They've got so much respect for him. And I know this, that room's easy for him to coach those guys because there's a lot of quality dudes in that room led by Justin Smith, the Cowboy, and all those guys. Now, Jim Harbaugh, if you're Jim, I think you've achieved, at least so far, with your big starters, really what you want to achieve in preseason, most importantly, is staying healthy. And if there's anything that he was able to achieve with his plan tonight by getting his ones out early after just a couple of series, it was keeping guys healthy and ready to go for the opener. Buying that?
Not really. Kyle Williams with the football up to the 25-yard line. Well, there's one point that you made in the game against the Saints that contrasted your view tonight, Tim. In the game against the Saints, in which the 49ers were constantly blitzed, you said the offensive line's struggles were schematic. And they were, and they fixed it against the Raiders. Tonight, you made the point that they weren't schematic, that they were just getting flat out beat.
Yeah, they couldn't block Antonio Smith, the defensive lineman. And if you remember early in the game, if you're watching number 94, the old Arizona Cardinal, they couldn't block him, bottom line. And one of them was a busted protection between Joe Staley and Mike Iupati, the left guard and left tackle. But all the other hits on the quarterbacks and the hurries and the harassing of the quarterbacks, both of these quarterbacks, Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith, for the most part, were guys just physically getting beat while they were trying to block the pass rushers for the Houston Texans.
But that's a concerning contrast to game 1 and game 3.
No doubt.
We got Juravich dropped the last pass, and now Kaepernick gets sacked. The struggles continue. That time, Tim Jamison gets in on the action.
Jamison's going to come here from the left side of your screen, and the running back just tries to chop him down and doesn't finish the job. When you chop a big defensive lineman, and typically the running backs are going to do that. If it's a big guy coming and it's a 3-step drop, they're going to try to chop him down, but you try to chop both of those legs. That time Kendall Hunter, it looked like, was only, or Xavier Omon, I believe, was only able to get one of those legs. Jamison was able to bounce back up off the ground and get the sack on Colin Kaepernick.
Well, you just saw a nice play. He's come up short for the first down, but I think an important one that Dominique Ziegler made the reception for the 49ers. He, of course, tore his ACL last November. He's looked good in practice, and this might be a big game for him, although there's under 8 minutes left. The coaches do want to evaluate Ziegler.
It's amazing where they've come with guys coming back from ACL injuries, Dennis. That used to be, and no doubt, a 2-year injury. Guys are coming back now 7, 8, 9 months later and playing on the football field. The recovery and the modern medicine is ridiculously upgraded just from 10 years ago.
Well, there was a time, of course, when the ACL was basically career-ending.
Right.
7:30 left. It is 30-7. What? We got a flag. Timeout.
Holding, receiving team number 47. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Now we can go to break. 7:30 left. We'll be back. Bethel Thompson, Balboa High School, Sacramento State, getting you ready to see his first action as a San Francisco 49er quarterback, and also in the game for the first time tonight, T.J. Yates, the rookie 5th-round pick out of North Carolina, 6'3", 185, 6 of 12, 97 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions in his first 2 preseason games. Obanaya with the football, but Tim, you mentioned that T.J. Yates could be pushing Matt Leinart.
Well, I think what you like about T.J. Yates, and you see those numbers from college, that's pretty darn good, especially the completion percentage and the yards, is he's got movement skills and athletic ability, and a below-the-belt quarterback, I like to call him. He's a guy that can get out on the edge and all the stuff that really comes off and schematically off of this offense in which Gary Kubiak believes in. A lot of it is with the quarterback booting out one way or the other and using his legs to extend plays. T.J. Yates has got all of that.
Leinart finished at 7 of 10 for 70 yards. Obanaya again, that'll bring up 3rd down.
And let me show you what I'm talking about with what Gary Kubiak likes to do. And so many plays come off of this zone play where he's just going to hand it off here. Now he's going to roll here. They're reading this guy. As this guy crashes down, watch him crash down on the run. I promise you, in a real game, the sister play to that, Dennis, is to run that a couple of times and then let T.J. Yates keep it and run around the corner. He's either got wide open field to run to, or he's got a tiered route with 2 guys coming from the backside that he can simply deliver the ball to. But they run all that stuff because it's got sister plays, all the sister plays that come off the zone. There it is, right there to the other side.
And he gets the first down. He completes to the tight end, DeVar Darling. Taylor and Culliver in on the tackle for Houston.
And that's really what that offense is all about. You run the zone, you run the zone, you run the zone play to one side, and then the quarterback's going to continue to boot. He's going to continue to bootleg out. And what defenses will do when that quarterback is a threat, that defensive end to that side, and Gary Kubiak knows he'll hold, which really opens it up for the cutback running game. So it really, one helps the other when you consistently have that action by the quarterback, whether he's handing it off or not.
So he gets the first down, ball just shy of the 32-yard line. Obanaya has some room this time and then cuts back and gets the first down. Marigo's able to make the tackle, but a nice run by Obanaya.
I would hate to be one of these big backs. Watch Obanaya, and then watch Maricos come and just chop his legs down. Watch him knife right through this outside leg. Wow! No thank you. I wouldn't want any part of that.
Well, Maragos has made his living on special teams, former Wisconsin walk-on, and the team captain, then the senior starter. So he goes from a walk-on to being the senior starter at safety. And, of course, nobody drafted him, so he walks on to the 49ers last year. That's pretty good for a guy nobody ever wanted.
That's right, and actually active a few games last year, up on the active roster.
And Williams, the ball carrier, and he breaks a couple of tackles. Taylor had him initially, and then Chris Culliver had to finish him off.
I don't know about you, but I am really excited when real football gets here, and I know these players can feel it. You're 2 weeks away from the opener. Guys are like, come on, enough of this already. Let's get to the real stuff on both sides of the ball. This defense is going to be a whole different animal now. Vic Fangio, what he's going to call, they are lethal in the front seven when you talk about their D-line and certainly their backers, I think are going to be much upgraded this year. The question mark is in the secondary, but I'm really excited for all the pressure, all the heat that I think this defense is going to dial up, Dennis, when the football gets real.
McKillop with the tackle on Williams. He'll be shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 2. I'm excited, Fangio, too. I mean, Harbaugh might be a rookie coach, but look at the experience he surrounded himself with. The defensive coordinator, Fangio, and, of course, Greg Roman, the O coordinator, and Brad Seeley, the special teams coach. There is a lot of good talent in the coaching ranks here.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Jim's brother John in Baltimore when he got there. Coming off of a defensive backs coach position with the Philadelphia Eagles. Before that, longtime special teams coach. Surrounded himself with a terrific coaching staff. They got the quarterback thing figured out. And they've been deep into the playoffs in all of John's years.
Williams gets the first down and inside the 45-yard line. Did John ever approach the 3rd preseason game in this fashion?
I'm not sure, but I can almost guarantee the answer would be no.
Well, I don't.
Jim doesn't care.
Yeah.
Jim doesn't care what
right,
we're saying.
He doesn't care.
He could give a hoot what we're saying up here. He's got his plan. He knows what he's got in his team and how he's going to evaluate these guys in terms of the opener. The thing I'm most worried about, and maybe the players can get by this, but you got the opener a little more than 2 weeks away, and as I said earlier, this is a game of confidence, a game of psychology and your psyche. I can't imagine that psyche is flying sky high right now for the 49ers.
Well, it did last week against the Raiders for sure, but if your plan is to come into this game the way Jim did, then and knowing that Houston was going to play 3/4 of its starters, you pretty much could have predicted what took place.
The 2-minute warning.
That's a football player look right there. Look of a linebacker. 2 minutes left. 30-7, Houston.
2 minutes left in preseason game number 3. The Texans holding the 49ers to only 7. That came on an interception return and giving up only 6 first downs as Javaris Williams tries to get to the outside. Spencer, name our rising star, will you please?
And now it is time to announce my rising star. You like that, buddy? I'm impersonating you. It's got to be nobody that Troy Nolan. Got to be Troy Nolan. So now you go to ABC13.com and enter Troy Nolan's name for a chance to win 2 VIP tickets to the Texans-Steelers game that happens October 2nd, as well as one Houston Texans autograph item is coming your way, giving us a reason to believe today, Troy Nolan, that back end is going to be better than it was a year ago.
No, it's a deeper defense.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question. There are guys that can really play, and they're put in positions to succeed in a new scheme. 3rd and 3, clock moving towards the minute mark. And on a bolt, that's the end of the game. Javaris Williams move the chains, take a knee or even 2, and the Texans are 3-0. And the most encouraging aspect of it all is the defense keyed everything for the offense tonight.
Well, there are more than one way to win games, and again, the offense necessarily didn't star, but they put up numbers against a very struggling, weaker defensive unit. Turned the ball over early in this contest to kind of set a negative tone for things, but the turnovers withstanding, they've come back and acquitted themselves pretty well. A little sloppy at times. Gary addressed that, as did Owen Daniel, but I think there's a lot to work on for this unit.
So Yates in for the final series as the Texans held on to it for the final 6.5, 7 minutes of the game, and that kind of typifies they did anything they wanted. So that'll do it in San Francisco. Another quick game. Last week 3 hours. This a little bit less than 3 hours. Yeah, the Texans get what they want out of it. Unfortunately, though, and hopefully it's not a bad one for Arian Foster. That's the negative, the only one really. And the turnovers, but more than anything else, you worry about the injury to Arian Foster.
Yeah, you really do, because again, that running back position has been like a little triage unit there. Hamstring injuries, and Bob McNair, when he was up here, talked about it off mic. Talked about the change in the weather here, how it goes from hot temperatures, successive days of 100+ degree temperatures in Houston, Texas, to this cold wind coming off the bay here, and it's quite adjustment. Your muscles respond differently to that. So as Wade Phillips comes off the field, he's got to be excited about what his defensive unit did today. And meanwhile, Gary Kubiak will try to find a solution for the turnovers and the drop balls from occasion.
And you see Gary right away from Kevin Cooper, the head of PR for the Texans, looking. Give me the numbers. I want to see numbers right away.
Yeah. Numbers, can be deceiving at times, but they also can tell a tremendous story. And they should dominate offensively against this weak defensive unit. But, the lost yardage, the turnovers, those are the things that don't necessarily show up in numbers. Because, again, here's an example. You may be leading in the trailing in the turnover category, but yet you defy the historical odds and you come away with a victory. That doesn't happen in the National Football League more often than not.
Tonight may have meant making the team for number 33. Troy Nolan looked that good on film. We'll come back, get ready to wrap things up with Bob Allen down on the sideline.